Hello everyone. You will see how I went to Armenia and what happened to me. The adventures were interesting and full of vivid memories. And I hope you enjoy everything I show you. Make yourself comfortable in front of the screens and enjoy your viewing. I took a taxi to the airport in Krasnodar very early in the morning. I was just afraid of missing my plane because it took almost 2 hours to get there. As you know, anything can happen. That is why you need some time to spare. The driver told me that a couple of days ago the automatic equipment on the barrier at the entrance to the airport did not work. There were some people standing near the barrier and they were collecting money from everyone entering the airport. You may have noticed that I don't speak English well. Please don't scold me too much. Anything you want to tell me, write in the comments. The airport of the city of Krasnodar consists of 2 terminals. One terminal is designed for international airlines. From this terminal I will fly to the city of Yerevan. The airport is equipped with paid parking. If you are in the parking lot for less than 15 minutes it is free. The international terminal is quite cozy and clean. The silence makes me sleepy because I haven't had enough sleep. I decided to look around so I wouldn't fall asleep. I saw a lot of instructions regarding the activities of the airport terminal. I also saw a lot of medical prescriptions aimed at preventing the spread of coronavirus infection. For example, this device says, "Raise your hands." I did not do this because I did not understand why this device is needed at all. I also saw a lot of campaign posters indicating that a person is more important than anything else in the world. The registration of our flight began and people slowly took the queue. I took my time too. What's the difference where to wait here or after check-in before departure? I have passed the registration and am going to the border control. I passed the border without any complaints and the next waiting room appeared before my eyes. The hall was also quiet. People were sitting and waiting to be invited to board the plane, and everyone probably thought about their problems and plans for the future. Probably knowing that Armenians like to drink coffee, a special machine was installed in the hall. Since I don't drink coffee, I just watch and envy him. Of course I'm joking. I was very surprised when I saw what a big duty-free hall. It's almost the same size as the waiting room. I didn't buy anything and decided to look around in the waiting room. Beautiful small trees planted in the center of the hall noticeably decorated the interior. For those who like to eat delicious food, there is a small cafe in the hall. If you decide to visit this cafe, then you will see a pleasant combination of indoor plants. On the bar counter of this cafe there is a visual menu of all the dishes that you can order. Near the bar there is a special place for hand disinfection. The employees of the cafe take care of their customers and this is clearly visible. You can see the plane through the glass door. I think it's not our plane because it's too small. The plane's crew appeared, and they are waiting for the car that will take them to the plane. The crew of the plane waited for the car for about 15 minutes. Finally the minibus arrived and all the happy people went to the plane. We were called to board. I grab my backpack and head over to the ticket collector. Buses are waiting for us at the exit of the international terminal. They'll take us to the plane. Despite all the warnings associated with the spread of the coronavirus, people in a closed room take off their masks and do not keep a distance. The border guards accompanying us close the doors of the international terminal, and our bus slowly goes to the plane. We didn't drive long. And finally I saw our plane belonging to the airline North Wind. A pretty stewardess was waiting for passengers on the plane's ramp. We started up the plane's ramp. A flight attendant standing at the door of the plane checked the presence of masks on the passengers. When I got on the plane, I saw that there were not many people in it, and I slowly began to look for my seat. I sat down in my seat near the window and watched the passengers get on the plane. The technical staff was bustling around the plane, and all this did not portend any surprises. The passengers were slowly packing their hand luggage and waiting for the plane to take off. A special car tug pulled the plane out of the parking lot and into the traffic lane. Before the flight took off, the flight attendant spoke about the need to comply with the safety rules on the plane. The plane taxied to the runway and began to accelerate, and the passengers prepared for takeoff. The speed of the plane increased and approached the takeoff point. It would seem that the plane is about to take off, but suddenly it began to slow down, and this caused surprise to all passengers. The commander of the aircraft explained the reason for the emergency braking of the aircraft. On takeoff, the luggage compartment door sensor was activated and it was dangerous to continue taking off. Subsequently, there could be a depressurization. It started raining and we had to wait 20 minutes for the technical staff to fix the problem. Finally, we took off and the whole beauty of the Cuban-Russian nature opened up under us. And then I noticed that the flaps of the wing of the plane for some reason randomly dangle in different directions. The feeling is not pleasant, but maybe it should be so. I am not an expert in airplanes and I hope that nothing will come off the wing of the plane in flight. We began to rapidly gain altitude flying over the so-called Krasnodar Sea and I calmed down. This is an artificial reservoir. When this object was built, a lot of villages were flooded. All those who had houses in the villages were resettled by the authorities in the city of Krasnodar. People did not want to move leaving their native places, but they had nowhere to go. About half an hour has passed since takeoff. As usual, the flight attendants began to offer passengers water. No one expected the second surprise, which began during the descent of the plane. We were caught in storm clouds and our plane began to shake very much from side to side. Passengers began to worry, but someone said that such a shaking for the plane is not terrible and everyone calmed down. The clouds were so dense that the ground could not be seen. I looked at the wing of the plane with apprehension and hoped that nothing would come off it. The pilot of the plane announced that we were going to land. Before our eyes opened the beautiful Caucasus Mountains between which the houses were located. The plane was on its way to land, but the impact of a strong crosswind was felt. Despite this, the pilots confidently directed the plane to the runway of Transcaucasian Airport in Yerevan. I was surprised that despite the fact that the plane is still moving, the passengers have already got up from their seats and are preparing to leave the plane. A closed ramp was fitted to the plane and we went out to the building of Transcaucasian Airport in Yerevan. For about 30 minutes we stood in a stuffy room in which border guards give permission to enter the country. I crossed the border of Armenia without any problems. I passed the quarantine zone and was met by my friends. We immediately went to the northernmost city of Armenia. On the way, I saw a nuclear power plant. In the city of Gyumri, we settled in a hotel that by its standards is among the most prestigious hotels. I really like the interior in the reception area. It is made in the Art Nouveau style and its beauty is striking. But in the hotel room itself, everything is like in ordinary cheap hotels. 2 double beds, a TV, a wardrobe and a bathroom combined with a toilet. The entrance to the bathroom is directly from a narrow corridor. The shower compartment is made of high quality. – All the elements of the interior are beautifully combined with each other. But the place for washing and the toilet are too close. The next day, my friend and I took a taxi to the city of Megri through the city of Yerevan. On the way, we were lucky enough to see the legendary biblical Mount Ararat. It is located in Turkey, but the Armenians consider it their symbol. The main landmark of the fact that you are entering Yerevan is a TV tower located on a hill. This ancient and beautiful city stretches under the hill. We passed the city of Yerevan, and the further we drove, the more hot it was. On the way, we stopped at a very beautiful place to drink water. We drove on and on. The natural landscape was changing before our eyes. Hills overgrown with all kinds of vegetation began to appear. But soon the hills were replaced by high rocks, and we began to realize that we were entering a different climatic zone of Armenia. I noticed that not only Armenian cars are moving along the road, but also cars belonging to residents of the Islamic Republic of Iran. To refuel our car with gas, we stopped at one of the universal gas stations. In Armenia, almost 95% of cars are filled with gas. Gas is much cheaper than gasoline. The cost of a liter of gasoline is about $1. It costs twice as much to fill up a car with gas. We drove on, and on the way we saw this beautiful lake. But no one expected to see such a surprise. Shepherds on horseback drove sheep right along the road. It was funny and interesting to look at them. We got hungry and decided to stop to eat. I saw a beautiful place, a water source. See for yourself what it looks like. The cafe where we decided to eat was small but cozy. The facade of this cafe was decorated with an eagle and two lions. I would like to note that it is the eagle and the lion that are depicted on the coat of arms of Armenia. Inside the cafe was cozy. 2 refrigerators with cooling drinks were conveniently located for visitors. You can order any Armenian meat dishes. The main meat dishes in Armenia are kebabs. You can see the entire price list of this cafe for yourself. The cafe also has a wide variety of alcoholic beverages. We ordered fried potatoes, salad and barbecue. Everything except the barbecue was brought to us quickly. Cooking meat dishes requires more time, and we did not wait for the barbecue to start our meal. We moved on and on. Along our route, checkpoints of Russian peacekeepers began to appear. The flags of Russia standing on the hills indicate that their servicemen are in this place. For those who do not know, I want to remind you that in 2021, the confrontation between the armed forces of Armenia and Azerbaijan began. As a result, a peace treaty was signed, and some areas on the territory of Armenia began to belong to Azerbaijan. Some localities, such as this village of Shernuk, were divided into 2 parts. One side belongs to Armenia and the other half belongs to Azerbaijan. A paradox, but it's true. After the war, the residents of the villages bordering Armenia decided that the border should be held as before the collapse of the USSR. Therefore, they hung their national flags everywhere. 7 hours after the start of the trip, we passed the city of Megri and continued our way to the city of Ararat. To the left of the road you can see special electronic wire barriers. They belong to the Russian border guards guarding the border of Armenia with the Islamic Republic of Iran. To the right of the road we see an abandoned railway. It functioned until the collapse of the USSR. I would like to note a large number of tunnels. And this is not surprising because the railway was built through the rocks. There were a lot of police cars in the city of Ararat. It's just that Armenia is on the threshold of parliamentary election. We stopped to fill up our car with gas and I looked around. The city of Ararat is located in a gorge between the rocks and therefore there is a draft wind. It is the wind that makes the climate of this city less hot compared to the city of Megri. But it's still very hot. The air temperature is 32 degrees Celsius. Fahrenheit is about 90 degrees. Our car was refueled by a very polite young guy. By his skillful actions, it was clear that he loves his job and it is not the first day in this business. There were few cars at the gas station, so we quickly refueled and drove on. On the way, we stopped by our mutual friend's house. And I was struck by the beauty of this small courtyard. Running water flowed along the garden fence. And the shadow of the courtyard was created by a beautiful canopy made of live grape leaves. The house is located on a hill, so the yard is not on the same level with the road. And all this gives a special beauty to the local infrastructure. Having finished all our business, we moved to the mountains. We have to visit the most mountainous village of the Sunnik region of Armenia. This village is called Tashtan. You can already see snow on the mountains and the month is now June.